All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're exploring a truly revolutionary, action-oriented psychological system created by psychotherapists Phil Stutz and Barry Michaels. If you've been looking for a clear, structured overview of their groundbreaking book, The Tools, you're in the exact right place. This explainer is designed to break down their system for us, showing you exactly how you can use their methods to unlock your limitless human potential. As you'll see, we're going to completely reframe how your biggest problems are actually your greatest opportunities.
We're starting with a major frustration, perfectly captured by a patient named Roberta. When co-author Barry Michaels was a new therapist, Roberta came to him demanding immediate relief from obsessing over her boyfriend. When he and his supervisors tried to dig into her childhood trauma, she stopped them cold, basically saying, "Tell me how I can stop obsessing. Don't waste my time on why I'm insecure. I already know." That was the exact moment Michaels realized traditional therapy had absolutely no real-time answers for people who needed immediate help to change their behavior right then and there.
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, a new approach to therapy. Then, attitudes versus active tools. After that, the 4 core tools. Next, Jeopardy, the ultimate motivator. And finally, the engine of evolution.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, a new approach to therapy. This is where we see a massive paradigm shift in treating mental roadblocks. Traditional therapy loves to look backward, right? It endlessly mines your past to understand the whys behind your feelings. But this new approach, it stays relentlessly in the present. Stutz and Michaels developed a method that treats your current problems not as lifelong handicaps, but as real-time catalysts. They are literal opportunities to tap into hidden potential right now, so you can actually get immediate relief.
Moving right along to Section 2, attitudes versus active tools.
To make this entire system work, we really have to redefine how we face adversity by understanding the stark difference between passive thinking and active doing. An attitude is just an adjustment of your thoughts. It happens entirely inside your head, which means you're still trapped working within your existing limitations. A tool, on the other hand, is a required behavioral action. It takes work, but the payoff is huge because taking that action actually connects you to forces that are infinitely bigger than yourself. The authors call these larger energies higher forces. Think of them as limitless, invisible energies that exist all around us. But here's the catch. You can't just control these higher forces from the outside, like flipping a right switch. To actually harness a higher force, you have to use a tool to become a mini version of the force itself. You literally have to change your state of being to match it. All right, let's get into the specifics in Section 3, the 4 core tools. Stutz and Michaels identified 4 fundamental problems that keep us from living the lives we want, and they brilliantly mapped each one to a specific tool and higher force. If you struggle with avoiding pain, you use the reversal of desire to tap into the force of forward motion. If you're trapped by anger, you use active love. If insecurity holds you back, you deploy inner authority. And if you find yourself taking life for granted, you utilize the grateful flow. Let's actually zoom in on 2 of these. First up, the reversal of desire. Look, human beings naturally avoid pain, right? We trap ourselves in a comfort zone that severely limits our lives. Well, this tool forces you to do the exact opposite. When you face something painful or difficult, instead of shrinking back, you visualize that pain as a cloud and deliberately propel yourself right into it. By actively embracing that discomfort, you align yourself with the relentless force of forward motion. You stop hiding and you start expanding. It's an absolute game changer. Another incredibly powerful one is inner authority. We all have those moments where we freeze up or feel deeply insecure. The authors explain that this stems from our shadow, which is essentially the embodiment of all our negative traits, that part of ourselves we are terrified others will see. But instead of hiding it, the inner authority tool teaches you to bond with your shadow. By bringing it forward and standing with it, you turn that insecurity into a conduit for the force of self-expression, allowing you to be completely natural and unshakable. Which brings us to a crucial fail-safe in Section 4, Jeopardy, the ultimate motivator. Let's be real for a second. Human nature practically guarantees that, eventually, we will stop using the things that help us. The authors noticed this maddening trend. Patients would get better using the tools, and then just stop. They'd completely destroy their own progress. To combat this, they introduced a 5th tool called Jeopardy. Jeopardy relies on the visceral fear of losing your future. It generates the intense, immediate urgency you need to create unwavering willpower, ensuring you actually keep practicing those 4 core tools. Applying Jeopardy is a seriously intense process. You literally walk through a deathbed visualization. You imagine your older self, completely out of time, screaming at you not to waste the present moment. I know, it's a harsh, almost terrifying imagery, but it is entirely intentional. A fluffy feel-good philosophy won't sustain your willpower when things get tough. Tapping into that deep, primitive fear of squandering your life cuts right through our laziness and forces immediate action. Finally, let's pull back the curtain in Section 5, the engine of evolution.
This is the absolute climax of our explainer. When you look at the grand blueprint of how this entire psychological framework operates, you see a complete system of inner evolution. Starting from the beginning of the process, a problem acts as a trigger, which forces the use of tools. Using those tools then connects us upward to higher forces, and ultimately, channeling those forces transforms you into a creator, radiating that energy outward.
And here is the stunning secret of this whole framework: the true nature of adversity. Both the problem you're facing and the higher forces that elevate you come from the exact same source: the force of evolution. Your worst problems, your deepest insecurities, those frustrating roadblocks, they aren't just random bad luck. They are intentional catalysts sent by the universe to force you to grow and tap into your ultimate potential.
However, this overarching system has a very strict boundary. While the universe supplies the problems to challenge you and the higher forces to elevate you, it absolutely refuses to make you evolve without your active participation. It respects human freedom way too much. Free will is the required third ingredient in this engine of evolution. The whole system sits entirely dormant until you consciously decide to do the work. You must choose to use the tools. And that brings us to the ultimate choice. You now have a map of the tools, an understanding of the higher forces, and the knowledge that your biggest problems are actually an open invitation to unlock your potential. So I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. Knowing that the universe will not do the heavy lifting for you, will you step out of your comfort zone and choose to evolve, or will you stay exactly the same?